Alright guys, welcome back. This is Oceanic Gaming's Rumble in the Oceanic Jungle. This is a completely online tournament. The prize pool is well over $1,000. We've also got the exclusive Triumphant Rise skins to give away to first place. We're going to be stepping into this game with Team Kiss versus Team vgr.black. I'm joined by my co-caster, EXS Shadow, and how's it going, man?
Yo, going pretty well.
That's good.
Today.
Yeah, this should be a really good game. So this is the top 8. So these teams have come through a pretty grueling round robin, and I'll grab the link to the round robin in a second, guys. So if you want to see the history of these teams, they can definitely check it out. But yeah, it promises to be a good day. Of course, these first rounds are going to be best of ones. So I've put the link into chat. Rounds B, C, D, and E are all best of ones. F and G are going to be best of 3. And H and I are best of 5 as well. So the last matches of the day are going to be the grand finals, and those matches are best of 5, which is pretty much the ultimate test of which team is stronger, in my opinion. Best of 5s are pretty hard to play out though, very long. The teams get really accustomed to what everyone else is going to, their opponent is going to do, and it starts an entirely new meta game, in my opinion. None of your most picked or most played champions are going to be allowed to get through the picked and banned phase, so really looking forward to it. And we are into champion select, so I'm pretty sure you saw both these teams play yesterday. Do you have any predicted bans coming out, Shadow?
Yeah, I'm thinking... I'm not really sure who they ban, but I think directing bans at probably Chocobo and Zeratul would be smart. I'm not too sure about Kiss.
Alright, so banning out Chocobo and banning out Zeratul. Do you have any heroes in mind to do that? Because I know that Chocobo played some really sick Kassadin games yesterday, and
yep, definitely that Kassadin.
Yep, and Zeratul was a Renekton as well. Is that something that you feel like you should ban out, or is there a lane that you can play against a Renekton that doesn't get so squashed by a really strong Renekton player?
There's definitely champions you can play, but as we saw yesterday, he just destroyed everything, so strong player, really strong at that champ. Gotta watch out for him and pick around it.
Yeah, most definitely. Alright, so
ban, of course.
Elise and Kassadin have already been banned out, as well as Thresh and Zac. Banning out Zac is a pretty good idea. It denies a little bit of the Wombo combo that we saw yesterday, the Orianna and Zac. Both of them using their ultimates to just completely decimate team fights. So, pretty standard in my opinion. Let's see what the last 2 bans are before we get into it. And Jarvan has been banned out. Now that's interesting.
It is an interesting ban. I'm not sure if any of them play it, but I do feel it is a good ban, so...
He is indeed a good ban. That leaves a couple of high CC junglers like Nautilus, like Maokai open. So it'd be cool to see what champions these guys pick up. It has been a very Jarvan Nautilus day today. And yesterday as well. And Rise being the last ban.
Very interesting ban. Definitely targeted. I'm guessing whoever their mid lane or possibly top laner plays a lot of Rise.
Yeah, what do you think about that transition? We saw Rise being played quite effectively in the OGN, we saw him played in the All-Stars, and it seems like it's just become a normal thing to run Rise as your top laner. And how do you feel about it?
Well, he's just so crazy strong at the moment. He's actually getting a couple of changes next patch, so those will be really interesting, see how that goes. Not necessarily nerfs, so for sure. No. I think he's actually going to be even better at top lane next patch.
Yeah, because changes
that's going to become a normal.
They are making to him, they're very interesting. Basically, they are removing 5 or 10 range on all of his abilities, except he's getting more move speed on his base and more move speed when he activates his ultimate. So he's going to get in closer to do the same amount of damage, which I guess is a fair trade-off, because at the moment, he can kind of sit back and blow everyone up, being relatively safe, and this is just going to make it a little bit harder for him, and I reckon it's a good decision all around.
Absolutely, and with the range changes on the abilities, that's also directed at fixing a little issue he has with chaining abilities, because of course he is all about chaining those abilities, and sometimes there is some stutter. Now, all the abilities will now have the same range, that will decrease that stutter. So,
oh wow, I didn't think about that.
That's a quality of life buff for, you know, the loss of a little bit of range on some of the abilities. So it's a really nice change, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, wow, that sounds good. Alright, so we've had Lee Sin locked in. Well, I'm not sure if that's mid, top, or jungle Lee Sin. We'll talk about the summoner spells once 3-minute delay has started. Nasus and Shen have also been locked in. And I like that. Nasus is a really strong jungler, as shown by Mesios in the LCS. He has the ability to stop people pushing down his lanes. He maxes his Spirit Fire, he throws that down, and it's pretty much impossible to take that turret. He's also very well known for being able to take early dragons by using his ultimate, which does drain AD, so he ends up being able to do dragon very quickly. So there's a pretty good pickups all around. And Renekton has been picked, and that actually takes it away from Zeratul, and we saw him playing Renekton quite a few games yesterday. So quite a clever pickup there. As well as Sona, who's a very strong team fighter and a bit of a lane bully as well. So I'm liking the picks coming out from both teams so far. And Twitch and Nami have just been instantly locked in. That was with some confidence. How do you feel about that bot lane of the Twitch and Nami combination? Alright, and we've lost my caster for just a second. So Twitch and Nami, in my opinion, is a very, very aggressive lane based around landing the bubble into Twitch's casket, his slow, and then getting expunged off after 3 or 4 deadly poison stacks. When you're playing against a Twitch, you cannot play a Vayne and you cannot play an Israel, as those are AD carries that do not win in the trade and don't scale as well as Twitch into the late game. Vayne probably does actually scale as well as Twitch, but based on how badly the lane does go for her, it's very hard to get Vayne the farm she needs or the experience she needs to get to that hyper carry position when Twitch just pretty much dumps all over her in lane. And we have Royal Chocobo soft locking the Dinger. I would love to see a Dinger today. And they do have potentially that mid lane open. Alright, and Akali has been locked in. Akali vs Twisted Fate as well. Now that should be a cool matchup to see. So Caitlyn and Sona sitting up in a lane together against Twitch and Nami. I think that lane is going to be very based around who hits the skill shots, both Piltover Peacemaker and Nami's Aqua Prison, the bubble that we all hate. If that goes onto the Sona, there's so much kill potential there. I'll talk about summoner spells then in 30 seconds, because if the Twitch is taking Ignite, that could be one very fried Sona. But if he's not, if you're taking Cleanse or Barrier or some other variant, it's going to be a little bit harder to kill, but still if the Aqua Prison lands on the Sona, the amount of the damage potential that's coming out is pretty amazing. Lee Sin's also a high mobility jungler, and he's going to have quite an easy time ganking bot lane. Twitch is usually a hero that you wouldn't want to play against Lee Sin. He can be very cheeky and stealth away in the middle of ganks, so he sees people collapsing on him, he just fires that ambush and tries not to take damage so he can get into stealth. Lee Sin kind of obliterates that idea because his Tempest / Cripple, his cast on E, actually reveals invisible units, so it'll be interesting to see how that pick works out for them. And now that we've reached the 3-minute delay, I can talk a little bit about summoner spells. It should be noted that Lee is taking Flash. That is very standard, pretty much ever since Insec played Lee Sin in the jungle. The combo that is now known as Insecking, when everyone does it, that's what everyone says, is when Lee Sin lands his Resonating Strike on you, and then flashes behind you and kicks you into his team. So Flash has become very standard, as well as buying Sightstone on Lee Sin. We're not seeing a Ignite in the bot lane for either team. It's just Exhaust and Barrier. That's fairly standard at the moment. It should be interesting to note that Twisted Fate has taken Ignite as well. I felt like he might have taken a Barrier against Akali, but it looks like he wants to trade kill potential with kill potential, and that's a good pickup as well. And Shen is taking Flash Ignite as well, and he can take pretty much any variant of Flash and Teleport, or Ghost and Ignite, or Ghost and Teleport, but that's very standard. Renekton doesn't have a Flash, but he does have a Slice and Dice, so if he holds it and uses it carefully, he's going to be absolutely fine in that top lane as well. And Nasus is taking Flash as well instead of Ghost, which says to me that he doesn't want to lane gank as much. Ghost is the summoner spell you take on the junglers that are doing lane ganks. So it's definitely interesting to note that. I talked about it quite a lot yesterday. If you ever see Ghost on the enemy jungler, that means they do have the potential to gank you from the lane. And the difference between a lane gank and a regular gank is pretty much specifically where they come from. If you're ganking normally, You can come from the brush, you can come over walls, you can do any of that good stuff. If you're ganking from the lane, you literally put your ghost on, run straight down the lane at your opponent, and try and make something happen. Nasus is particularly effective with that, because as soon as he gets in range of someone, he can throw the Wither on them, and that increases his kill potential quite substantially. So, 40 seconds into this game starts, and it's going to be good. My co-caster has got technical issues at the moment, which is absolutely fine. And I will be casting you guys into this game until he is ready. So this is Team Kiss versus Team vgr.black. They did come through a fantastic round robin yesterday, and I'm putting the links into chat right now. So, over the course of the day yesterday, there were 9 rounds. So they played 8 games and they had 1 bye. So that's a pretty grueling day. So vgr.black's record after day 1 was 6-2-0. So that's 6 wins and 2 losses. So very, very respectable. On the other hand, Team Kiss, coming from the second group, was 7-1-0. So that's very strong showing.
And I'm back.
Welcome back, man. So I just went over the picks and pans a little bit. A couple of interesting things to note. Nasus isn't taking Ghost, which is pretty standard on him at the moment.
Alright.
And, sorry, the Shen wasn't taking any kind of teleport either to get back into lane. And I think that was pretty much it. Also, the Renekton isn't taking Flash. So these are all very standard things to do, but they're a little bit of a variant. Flash is by far the most popular summoner spell, so whenever we see someone don't take it, it's something cool to point out, in my opinion.
For sure. Very interesting, actually, seeing not the Ghost taken on Nasus. Would have definitely expected that.
Yeah, most definitely.
Renekton taking the Ghost, of course. The opposite, I would expect the Flash, so not so interesting, but definitely worth noting.
Yeah, most definitely. Alright, and we are getting into this game. Players loading quite quickly. The skins are coming out are quite cool. Traditionally Sin, Tango, Twisted Fate, Vandal Twitch, which I really like, and Blood Moon Shen, and Nurse Akali. There's actually, I think it's a Blood Moon Akali as well. They have like matching skins, if I'm not mistaken. Cool
yeah, there is.
We saw some like duo skin lore in here. But yeah. Alright, and everyone is showing 100% for me, so we should be getting into this game very shortly. There aren't any team icons. You've recently been allowed to purchase the NA and the EU LCS icons for both teams. So, I'm not seeing any Cloud9s or TSMs or CLGs. It's kind of disappointing. It's always cool when you see people repping their favorite teams from the LCS.
We are seeing a Bronze Season 1 Cup, though, coming out from the Caitlyn, I believe.
The swag factor, the Bronze Cup. I like it.
That is definitely a swag factor cup.
Alright, so I'm just setting up my overlay so that all my lanes are matching, and here we go. So, the game is underway. Now, in your opinion, if you're looking at these teams level 1, if they were doing a 5v5 fight in the jungle, who would you give this level 1 to?
I could... Wow, actually both teams have a pretty strong level 1. In terms of invading, I think maybe Purple team has a better invade, but Blue team has a better counter invade. So actually that kind of balances itself out.
Yeah, fair enough.
Have that Caitlyn and TF, that's very strong counter invade.
Whenever you see a Twisted Fate on a team, it pretty much says to me that
they're strong level 1.
You can do something level 1. He does have that gold card. It is going to definitely lock someone down if he lands it.
Absolutely. Super strong ability, especially level 1.
Yeah. Alright, so we're having a pause coming out just for technical issues. I think someone has a very large amount of ping, which is something you don't really want. So hopefully that clears up shortly and we'll get into this. Alright, so Shen against Renekton in the top lane, as I think what we're going to see. Unless there's, you know, some landslide lane swaps. So how do you feel about that lane? Just breaking it down to who do you think has the lane dominance?
That's an interesting lane. I think perhaps Renekton will win early, but Shen should pretty quickly take over that lane because he'll just be able to tank through those Qs from Renekton with that shield and keep putting out the sustained damage from his passive and his Q. So I give that to Shen, and Renekton's going to have to really work for that lane.
Yeah, most definitely. So we actually saw this lane a little bit yesterday, the Shen versus Renekton, and basically what happens is they both pick up a Sunfire Cape, and they both can do nothing to one another. they don't have kill potential without outside influence, which is absolutely fine in my opinion. They just farm up and become huge monsters. Although, I think late game, I do rate a Renekton over a Shen. It feels like Renekton can do more damage and be as tanky, whereas Shen to me just feels like a tanky initiator. Do you feel the same way, or do you feel like Shen has some hidden potential that I'm not seeing?
Well, actually, conversely, I feel that Renekton's late game is somewhat underwhelming. Yeah, he does bring a little bit more damage, but I feel that Shen provides more for the team in terms of the ult, and that taunt is just so strong. But you are right, Renekton does bring quite a bit more damage, so...
Yeah, that's true. Alright, so Twisted Fate against Akali in the mid lane. I feel like that's going to go to the Assassin, probably. I feel like Royal Chocobo's Akali, once they hit level 6, Twisted Fate is going to have a horrible time in the lane. However, I feel like Twisted Fate can more easily assert influence around the map with that global ultimate. Do you agree with me there, or do you have more insight to show?
He's going to have to, really, because that Akali is just going to be blowing him up, and he's going to have that global presence to put both his team ahead and himself, and keep himself in it, because Akali is not someone he wants to 1v1.
Yeah, that's so true. And I was talking a little bit before about the high mobility Lee Sin ganks. Do you feel like Lee Sin will have more influence on the map than this Nasus? Or is that something that's very situational?
Well, especially with that mid lane, the Lee Sin pickup was really good because that's going to enable him to gank mid by revealing her through her invisibility, which does make her quite hard to gank usually. So, because of that, they're going to have...
Wow, we're actually seeing Shen and Nami land their CC on this Renekton. It doesn't look like anything's going to happen. Nami actually flashes away. So, even though they call it out, the Nami doesn't have flash for the next 5 minutes. Flash does have a 300-second cooldown, guys. So it's good if you time that. Nami's actually gone deep into the util tree, so it's 255 seconds on her flash. So it's good to time that and base your actions around their cooldowns.
So as we saw there, Purple Team does have quite that CC, but then kind of lacking a little bit of damage early game, and actually I'm thinking that might carry over into the late game. They're going to be relying a lot on Akali and Twitch to pump out that DPS, unless Nasus can get his Q nice and farmed up.
Yeah, that's very true. Alright, and we're seeing both junglers start their blue buff. Now, the way that you usually run the jungle is whatever buff you start at, you're going to gank the opposite lane. So if you're blue team and you're starting blue buff, you're probably going to get red and then gank bot. And conversely, if you're red team and you're starting blue buff, you're probably going to get red next and then gank top. So that's just the way that the jungle works. You try to clear both your buffs and then gank the lane closest to the last buff you clear.
Indeed. And of course Lee starting at blue because they have done a lane swap and are denying that Shen pretty hard right now.
I see. Alright, so we have seen a lane swap. We've got Sona and Caitlyn in the top lane against this Shen. They did initiate the lane swap. And generally, I say this, the team that initiates the lane swap probably has the advantage in the lane swap. They were mentally prepared for it. They've picked the heroes to, to be the right heroes to 1v2, and they've picked the right heroes to 2v1. So let's see if Team Kiss can make something happen, like a quick tower kill. And we have already seen AKG Kiss, the team's captain, arrive in the bot lane to help out in this 1v2 scenario. This is very reminiscent to how the LCS players are playing. So these players are playing a very high level of metagame. The jungler is there to just help wave clear and to help not let this tower get pressured. Nasus has rotated top to do the same thing as well. And he will be spamming that Spirit Fire to try to clear the waves and save this tower as much HP as humanly possible.
As mentioned earlier though, Purple Team is lacking some of that damage, and actually that's causing their turret to drop quite a bit of HP despite having two people there. So I don't know if they're going to be able to defend that 2v2. Blue Team's definitely much more ready for this lane swap and using it to their advantage right now.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Just as I said before, if you initiate the lane swap, you generally have the mindset ready for it. I personally hate being forced into a lane swap scenario. When I'm 2v1 against someone and I'm not ready for it, it's something very hard for me to get used to. So I'm assuming it's the same for most players, and I guess we're seeing a little bit of that now. And we actually have Renekton going on Zeratil's Twitch in the bot lane. Nice bubble from the Nami, but the Resonating Strike is good. Could this be First Blood? The Ignite is down, and he flashes for the First Blood. Nami doesn't have a flash from that level 1 invade, and she's taking a lot of damage as well, and that was really well played by Team Kiss. So they've initiated this 2v1, they are getting so much damage onto this top turret, and they have picked up the first blood in the bot lane, and that was really good for that early game, and they're really picking up some momentum here.
So yeah, while there was bot, of course, essentially the 1v2 Renekton has got a kill in that lane. I mean, it was 2v2, but effectively, that's how that is. So that's definitely working out very, very well for them. And it means that kind of 2v1 factor doesn't really apply for bot lane, but they do have the 2v1 for themselves top.
Yeah, so really well played. Kiss definitely pulling ahead here. They're only up just 800 gold at the moment. That's a good amount to be at this stage in the game, though. Akali is having a little bit of trouble against this Twisted Fate pre-level 6, which I guess is to be expected. Twisted Fate can harass her pretty much with impunity. It is ranged against melee. And he is using his Twilight Shroud, Akali's invisible ability, just to make last hitting a little bit easier for himself.
Yep, nothing too surprising there. She is just waiting for that 6. It'll be interesting to see how much she can do afterwards. Yeah, TF's going to have to just be wary that he's not going to have that huge power that he's experiencing at the moment. If he gets overzealous, he could end up dying for it.
Yeah, most definitely. And Caitlyn and Sona continue this never-ending push in this top lane. The turret is down to 1000 HP. The turret in the bot lane is still full HP, so where Twitch and Nami are, they haven't done any damage to the tower whatsoever, compared to 1550 damage being done on Caitlyn and Sona's tower, so...
And in fact, Twitch and Nami's tower has even taken a little damage on top of that. So
yeah, wow.
Going very strongly in the favor of
Team Kiss, yeah.
Kiss.
So Nami is zoning out the Renekton at the moment. I'm not sure he's too worried about that. He's already so far ahead. He could probably afford to lose a little bit of experience and a little bit of CS. So, well played. And it looks like this turret might actually go down in this wave or the next wave for this Caitlyn and Sona. They did have a turret minion, and when you do have a turret minion, it makes it so much easier to pressure down this turret.
And actually, in mid as well, the turret is getting extremely low. They are looking for some very early, probably 2, maybe even 3 turrets if they get that bot turret. That's going to give them huge map power and gold, and of course, top turret does go down there. So they're going to be looking to swap down to bottom lane and take that tower as soon as they can.
So Caitlyn is recalling. I feel like they're going to do exactly what you just said. They are going to now rotate bot. So Caitlyn and Sona will go into the bot lane. Renekton will at some point recall and go top. And we'll see a reset of the standard meta, as it were. And you are correct that it looks like... Oh, actually, Lee Sin is taking so much damage in this mid lane. He tries to kick them away, but it's not enough, and he has fallen. He didn't have his flash up because he used it to secure that first blood in the bot lane. And that's a good pickup. For
they really needed that.
Akali and this Nasus to, bring them a little bit more into this game. So, well played.
Nasus has used his ult and he's going for that dragon. He is actually able to solo it, but he's going to get some help. It's not warded from Team Kiss. And that's going to go down really easily for Purple Team, putting them way back in this game.
Wow, and Nami Bubble comes out, but it does whiff. Renekton is doing so much damage in this bot lane. Shin Ultimate does come out, and it is enough to keep the Twitch alive. It looks like they might want to make a play now that they have 5 people in this bot lane against the 4 people that Team Kiss are bringing to the foray. So Renekton hasn't recalled top yet, and he should do so soon, because there is a huge wave in the top lane, and it's a lot of gold and a lot of experience that he can potentially pick up. So yeah, the first dragon of the game went to Team vgr.black. That was using Nasus's ult, his Dominus, just to get... Fury of the Sands, Dominus's Renekton's, to pick up that dragon very easily. And he's now coming down to the bot lane to use that Spirit Fire to clear everything out. So Twitch also has quite a bit of wave clear at the moment. He was using his Venom Cask, and then he used an Expunge to get rid of pretty much all the ranged creeps in one shot. So that's quite good. So Shin is rotated back top. Zeratil's actually making a play on this Renekton in the bot lane. He's stealthed in with Nami Sidecrawler's Blessing, getting so much damage out. And best solo queue NA's Renekton does fall to the Akali. So it looks
Meanwhile, as you mentioned, Shen is pushing that top lane. Renekton loses out on that very massive wave, and Shen's getting a lot of damage on that turret trying to equalize.
Oh wow, that was something like 20 CS. So that's a huge amount of CS. And that could have pretty much ensured that Renekton continued to snowball.
Now, even with that early turret that Team Kiss does have, the gold lead is actually only about 100, maybe 200 gold at the moment, so it's extremely close, and they will actually pick up that top lane turret very soon. But Nasus is going down at the moment.
Nasus taking so much damage. The Ignite does go out, and a cheeky auto attack from Best Ribbon CN does secure that kill. That was well played. Nasus came into the mid lane just to apply some pressure, got caught out by a gold card and a resonating strike by TF and Lee Sin, and he does pay for it with his life. So he's going to be pretty unhappy about that, and Team Kiss secure the second turret of the game. AKG Kiss actually gets a nice kick and a nice gold card. The wild card does whiff though, and Akali flashes out and is going to get away safe. However, they get some more pressure and pick up bot turret at the same time. So the turrets are now 3-0. So even though vgr.black did pick up that dragon and did pick up a couple of kills, it looks like Kiss is still way up in those hard objectives, and that's what they want to be doing at the moment, pressuring these objectives.
These turrets are going to give them a lot of early gold and a lot of map power, and they really need to use that though, because turrets are not like dragons, of course. They do not respawn, you do not get that gold again. So if vgr.black can pick up the opposing turrets to balance that out, they will be slightly ahead on gold at the moment, I believe.
Yeah, they will be indeed, but only if they can pick up those objectives, and Team Kiss, they are using the Korean meta, as pointed out in chat. It is all about pushing down these turrets. It's all about keeping that momentum up. It's all about getting that global gold, because you aren't farming as efficiently as you'd normally be in the standard meta. And at the moment, they have a lot of gold for this point in the game, and it's just the global gold picked up from 3 turrets. So, very well played by Team Kiss so far, and I'm wondering if vgr.black has an answer for it. And Nasus actually getting caught out in his own jungle, does fly the Fury to Sands, and Akali comes in, and this could be very bad for Team Kiss. TF has used his Destiny to come in, and the Ignite is on the Nasus, and Nasus is going to go down to the Renekton. Renekton is now on a 1v2, Shin and Akali fighting him in his own jungle, and it looks like he can beat them in the 1v2 scenario. They are backing away from this. And that was a 1-for-2 in favor of Team vgr.black. And we're getting another pause, internet issues for the Twitch, and hopefully they will be able to fix this and get back into the game shortly. So how come you felt like that trade went so badly in favor of Team Kiss? They were setting up an ambush, they did fight on their terms. What do you think went wrong?
I think a lot of that was just down to Akali having huge power in these small skirmishes, and Team Kiss really just not having the tankiness or the straight up damage to counteract that at this stage in the game. Later on, that won't be such a big issue.
Yeah, that's very true. It was also good timing for the Ignite to be up on Akali. Oh, sorry, I think it was on the Renekton, rather. So Renekton was able to ignite Nasus, so instead of Nasus getting more and more tanky as the fight continued, the Ignite pretty much just brought him down and actually killed him, even though he wasn't being focused. Wow, Twitch has actually caught out the Sona in the bot lane. The Echo Pressor does land. The Expunge misses, Sona flashes it, but it looks like he is going to go down. One more auto attack is enough, and he does pick up the kill.
There it is. Yep.
So yeah, so much kill potential on that Sona with the Acro Prison into the Venom Cask, and we witnessed that right there, 100-0 the Sona in one set of cooldowns.
Akali looking to dive at Caitlyn perhaps, but Lee is nearby.
Yeah.
It would be very risky if they go for it, but I do think Royal Chocobo is going to keep looking for this opportunity.
They have so much damage at the moment. Twitch is actually stealthing in, just using the ambush to get his attack speed steroid on the turret. Wow, Royal Chocobo actually going in on the Lee Sin for one set of combos and brings him down to just above half HP. So a very, very considerable chunk of damage.
TF is hovering around that tri-brush, but Shen ult is now up, of course. They do have to be wary of that. And of course, Shen actually has to be very wary using it because Renekton is just looking to push him out and take that top turret if he goes down, because Renekton does not have that teleport.
That's true. Shen does have his Stand United up, so if something does happen in this bot lane, he can use it to be there instantly and give his teammate a 250 HP shield, which could really turn the fight around on their head. So Renekton is showing his dominance, as you did say. The CS is 65-39 in Renekton's favor. Shen hasn't been able to lane traditionally in a very long time, which is probably going to be, something that he's pretty sour about. Shen definitely does shine after he gets his first couple of core items like a Sunfire Cape or a Wit's End or a Warmogs, and he hasn't been able to secure those first items just yet. Conversely, Renekton is sitting on a Sunfire Cape and has enough gold to go back and buy another respectable item as well. So he's definitely more farmed than this Shen at the moment.
Yeah, and of course, while he wasn't able to get as much farm as maybe he would have liked in that 1v2, the globals have definitely balanced that out, so he's sitting in a very good position right now. He'll be
Yeah,
very
that's
happy
true.
with what he has at the moment.
It should also be noted that TF's passive Loaded Dice, I feel it's called. Yep, I'm correct.
Yep.
Applies a global passive to the entire map, where every one of his team's last hits get an extra couple of gold. So it's definitely in Team Kiss's favor. Just as they farm normally, they're going to become more farmed than any other equivalent amount of farm. So it's just something good to note that they will be cashing in on that passive, just passively over the
Indeed.
entire game.
A very powerful passive, actually, very under noticed, and it is getting changed next patch because of that. But
And Twisted
at the
Fate
moment,
is actually
it's not.
getting into the spot lane. Shen uses his Stand United very early. The taunt misses on Best Driven CN though, but it looks like Twisted Fate is taking so much damage. Ignite has gone down. Zeratul does a nice expunge to pick up the kill on Twisted Fate. Caitlyn is just clearing this wave in the bot lane. So that was a 1-for-0 on an initiate that Twisted Fate started, so he's going to be pretty unhappy with that. And it looks like Team vgr.black is now setting up for this dragon, and they definitely have the potential to do it. They're dragging the dragon out of the pit. Dragging the dragon, sorry, that's a horrible turn of phrase. And Lee Sin comes over the wall, gets so much damage down, but is gonna die and did not smite steal away the Barret. He's gonna be pretty sour about that.
So VGR Black playing very well in terms of team fights and small skirmishes, and really trying to bring back, and are actually ahead on gold, despite being 3 turrets to 0.
Wow,
So
so
once they do start picking up those turrets, they're going to be quite ahead.
they are indeed. So that went very well in favor of VGR Black. Sona actually being caught out again. Royal Chocobo and Shen pick up the kill on the Sona. And it looks like they're going onto the Renekton now. There are 4 people in the mid lane for VGR Black and only 2 people in the mid lane for Team Kiss. And Akali is using a Shadow Dance to get out onto the minion wave and a little bit closer to this turret. And they do bring the first turret of the game down in the mid lane. So the gold gap has widened a little bit, 1.3 thousand in Team VGR's Black's league. So that's pretty good. They had a really rough early game with Team Kiss pulling off a very concise team pushing strategy, tower pushing strategy. But as you did call it, VGR Black are having a lot of fun in these team fights. They're pulling ahead in all the team fights, and they've secured a couple of dragons now. And it's definitely making all the difference, in my opinion.
Definitely. And meanwhile, the Winions at top lane have actually taken down
A
another
turret all by
below.
themselves? Oh, wow.
So they're starting even further ahead now.
Wow, that's
So
really well
they're going to
played.
feel very strong at the moment. And they'll probably be looking to take down that bot turret and just confirm their lead and equalize those turrets.
How do you feel about a Caitlyn scaling against a Twitch scaling into late game? Do you feel like one hero has an advantage, or?
Caitlyn has an extremely strong, very late game, but mid game Twitch definitely has that power, especially from that ultimate. He's going to be hitting at least 2 or 3, maybe even more people in those team fights, and that's going to pump out a huge amount of damage. He's going to be very, very scary.
That's so true. Team fights based around, an Aqua Prison or Nami's Tidal Wave into a spray and pray could just be very, very intimidating.
Extremely.
Alright, so Akali and Nami are just running around the map and warding everything up. I'm surprised we haven't seen an Oracles yet to compound the advantage that VGR Black have just bought for themselves. But we should be seeing one without, too much delay. That is such a strong item for the mid game. Lee Sin has actually... Oh, sorry, I was going to say he picked up one for himself, but it was just a pink ward. So no Oracles on the map at the moment. A lot of wave clearing going down in the bot lane. It looks like Team VGR Black wanted to push down that turret, but have just decided to keep the farm game going. They do have that Shin that is just split pushing in the top lane. His Stand United is up in, I'm just going to check for you, in 2 seconds. So in time for the next team fight. So they're quite happy keeping this pressure on the map in every single lane and just letting Shin split push and do his thing. And it looks to be quite effective at the moment. Someone's going to have to go and deal with him. And then they'll be able to force a fight 4v5 with that Stand United.
Yep, very soon too. And Nasus is coming down bot. You can see the places that VGR Black has warded are not in the tri-bush, but just a little bit deeper. And those are very strong, powerful pushing wards. They can use that to see when Team Kiss is trying to counteract their push, and they'll be able to use that to help them get bot turret very soon.
Yeah, very, very well. Very well said. That's what I'm trying to say. If the spectator could highlight the couple of wards that cannot be seen by that pink and the tri-brush, so people can note the position and use it for themselves, because that is a very clever ward.
Yep, very strong place to put your wards.
And Twisted Fate recalling in the mid lane. Kali just continuing this push. Shen is continuing the push in the top lane. Now that he's picked up that Sunfire Cape, he can split push with a lot more effectiveness. Shen's wave clear without it is a little bit lackluster. Renekton actually going onto Akali in this mid lane. Wow, nicely played by Akali. Twisted Fate is going to Destiny in though, isn't in range to use his gold
and
card.
actually blows the flash and still doesn't get it off.
Both of them actually blew flash there right at the same time. Royal Chocolate is going to walk away safely though. And 5 minutes on both of their flashes. So Shen, instead of continuing his split push like I felt he would, actually recalled there. I think he might have stopped CSing for a minute to see if he needed to cast his Stand United on his friendly Akali. But it turned out he didn't have to, and then he just backed off, and he's actually picked up a Mercury Trades, and it looks like his next item is going to be Warmox by the item path that he is going. So it's going to be one very tanky Shen. His passive, his key strike actually scales with HP, so his first auto attack in any fight is going to be quite considerably stronger than you'd expect. So that's always a nice perk of how you can build him.
Extra chunk. TF getting jumped on by Kali, she just backs out.
It should be noted that TF's actually going for an Abyssal Scepter for his first item. He's also got a Sheen as well, but that extra MR is definitely going to help him against this Akali. It will mean that Akali's burst isn't quite as considerable, especially considering that she doesn't have Sorcerer's Boots or Haunting Guys or any of those nice spell penetration items that we're so fond of seeing on mages.
Yep, and he has picked that up now. So he's very scared of that Akali, but now he's not going to have to be too scared. He still has to be a little bit wary though.
Yeah, most definitely. He's also got Sorcerer's Shoots himself, so with the extra MR on that Abyssal Scepter, he's probably going to do quite a lot of damage as well. So it's a pretty good item path when you are scared of an AP assassin. So Twitch and Nami haven't succeeded in taking this turret away from Caitlyn and Sona, which I think is pretty normal really. That is one very scary lane. Twitch and Nami have so much kill potential. Now, Twitch is actually stealthing in. Tidecaller's Blessing has gone on him. Let's see if he tries to make a play in this bot lane. And it doesn't look like it. He looks like he's just going to wave clear. They're actually both sitting on a considerable amount of gold. Twitch is sitting on 650 gold compared to Caitlyn's 700. So next time he goes back, he can pick up components for a Zeal or Phantom Dancer or Static Shiv or whatever attack speed item he is going to be building into. And Dragon has just spawned. So that objective is up on the map.
TF is actually looking to gain bot right now. He's not on a ward. So
the pings are going down. Let's see if he finds
vgr.black don't know, and there it is.
Nice! Crescendo coming out from Bronze 5 Trash. Gets 2 people in it. So Nami flashes away, and I think she's just going to walk away from this one. But that does leave Dragon open for Team Kiss to pick up. So lots of pings are going down. Shen has pinged the top lane, and it looks like he's going to split push throughout this fight. He does not have Stand United. He did use it to try and save someone in the bot lane and was not successful. And this Dragon goes uncontested in favor of Team Kiss. vgr.black, the gold lead has decreased to 300 from about 3,000. So Team Kiss have played very well in stalling out the snowball, as it were.
Yep, definitely. vgr.black made a huge comeback, and it's almost harder to come back from a comeback than it is in the first place to make one. So they're doing a very good job, Team Kiss.
Yeah, I
and
completely agree.
They're just going to have to keep, making the plays with the TF ult, and that's what they'll be looking to do, of course.
So I'm just looking at the creep stats for both teams, and I think it's very similar across the entire team.
Extremely similar.
It looks like Team Kiss does have a little bit of advantage all around. They've actually got every single one of their solo lanes is doing better than their counterpart. So that's probably where a bit of the gold lead is coming in. The gold equilibrium is coming in, considering that Team vgr.black have a 4-kill lead on them. So that CS is pretty invaluable at keeping them in the game, keeping them up to scratch. And they're showing some very scary wave clear. It's very hard to push past a Twisted Fate and a Renekton and a Caitlyn. So they've really stalled out this mid game where Team vgr.black would want to be securing those hard objectives, getting those turrets down. It's making it a very hard time for them to do so. So really well played by Team Kiss.
And vgr.black are clearly very aware that those TF ganks are what Team Kiss is going to be looking to pull out. They're going to be really aiming for that to make the plays, because Twitch has picked up a QSS extremely early.
Oh wow, that is a very fast QSS. He hasn't actually built an attack speed item other than his Berserker's Greaves. So that's very cool, because he will be able to cleanse that TF gold card and walk away. It looks
But
like they
actually,
actually
right
went
now,
to a cheeky Baron. I think if this is not water, they might be able to pick it up. However,
They do
Renekton
have-
is coming to check it. Does he? He must have sixth
gonna
sense or
get
something.
caught out.
He
They
does get
don't
tough,
have much
does
damage,
with
though.
it, and he is going to use his double slice and dice to get away, and they're going to be so unhappy with that. They could have picked up that Baron in about 30 seconds if no one checked them out. Well, Akali going onto this Caitlyn in the bot lane is actually forced to flash out because she takes so much damage from Lee Sin, Caitlyn, and Sona. And after having those 3 people in the Baron, it looks like Team Kiss are going to go for this bottom inner turret, and they might be able to get it as well. It's taking quite a lot of damage at the moment. The wave has run out, but Akali and Nami are not really traditionally known for their wave clear. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Twisted Fate and Renekton are pushing down this mid turret as well. Twisted Fate has Sheen and he has his cards, so he can do a lot of damage to turrets.
vgr.black are just really not going to be happy at all with how that went out. Renekton only got that Baron check just by chance. They had no idea, really.
No, they had no
They just
idea
happened
at
to
all.
walk over there.
And that was really well played by Best Solo Q&A to check that. That was absolutely amazing. His spidey sense was tingling, and he found them at the Baron buff, as it were.
And it's been massive for them, actually, and they're now ahead in gold for the first time in quite a while.
They are indeed. They picked up another turret, bringing the turret count to 4-2. Shen is split pushing this top wave pretty aggressively, really. Destiny's does come out. Akali is being focused in the spot lane. Crescendo comes out as well. Twisted Fate Destiny's about 10 meters away from where he was. He actually had to flash after that as well, and Royal Chocobo does go down. Shen is continuing the split push on the top lane. The turret has lost 1,500 HP so far, and it might actually go down if Renekton and Caitlyn can't get there in time. So successful split push from Shen.
Definitely, and vgr.black showing how much they love the sneaky Baron because they are back at it with the
Oh,
Oracle
wow.
still and a pink ward. Shen is just going to distract them. He's going to ult out. No, he's not. He gets gold carded. He's going to go down.
Yeah, is gonna die here, but I think it's probably worth getting the Baron. That will mean that the team fight is a little bit stronger. It brings the gold count back up in favor of vgr.black. So even after that entire turret and kill fiasco, the gold is now back in their favor, which is pretty amazing. They have noticed that the Baron is gone. They're going to be pretty unhappy with that. Very cheeky pickup there. So Nasus, Nami, and Twitch were just able to take it all by themselves. Nasus using his ult, Fury of the Sands, to tank up. And a very nice pickup there. Now it looks like Team Kiss are all in the mid lane and just shove that turret down almost instantly, and it looks like they are going to start the siege on this very inner turret and maybe even try for the inhibitor. Do you think they have the pushing power to take this one away, or do you think it's a little
I
bit
do
ambitious?
not feel that they can against that Baron, and they are sitting a little tiny bit ahead on gold, but at the moment that's not going to make too much of a difference, of course. So that Baron is going to make that difference, so they're most likely going to back out.
Yeah, and alright, so where we see Twisted Fate standing at the moment, it's probably a very, very risky place for Twisted Fate to stand. And I think that was because he did DC, and it looks like Nami and Akali are gonna blow him up when he reconnects, so it's gonna be pretty hard for him to get out of this. Sona's Crescendo isn't up. Twisted Fate's Flash isn't up. If anything lands on top of him, he is gonna be some kind of dead. And we've got to remember to jump to live when this pause ends, because it does mess up my live timer. And how do you feel like this fight will go? In favor of Team Kiss, even though that Twisted Fate is about to get jumped on, or in favor of vgr.black, who are about to catch out a DC to Twisted Fate in a very ugly position?
I feel that because of the Lee Sin kick and the Sonar ult, actually no, the Lee Sin kick is up but Sonar ult is not. They may be able to help TF and just disengage from this.
Yeah,
But they're going to have to be very ready for it, and of course they are, because
so here we go.
they're perfectly where it's coming.
Let's see if this Twisted Fate can get away. We really did catch them in a crazy position, and Twisted Fate does get away. No catch, and I'm just jumping back to live and to make sure everything's fine. Yep, and it looks like Twisted Fate was able to just walk away from that. So he's going to be pretty happy. Kate is farming up the spot lane. She's actually leading the map in CS at the moment, having 265 at the 26-minute mark. So she has followed the LCS benchmark for CS by getting 10 CS per minute. So I'm very impressed with how well she's farming. And she does have that 270 by 27 minutes. So very, very respectable amount of farm on this Caitlyn.
Definitely, and she's got the items to just show for it. On
Yeah,
top of all
wow.
the turrets they've got, it's huge. Those items you would not be expecting in most games for another good, maybe even up to 10 minutes.
Yeah,
so
10
she's
10 to
very,
13
very
minutes.
strong at the moment.
And she's already got 2 core items with her Infinity Edge and a Phantom Dancer. So the next item is probably going to be Last Whisper, and then she is really going to start hurting. She has a PowerPoint at the moment with those items up, and it looks like Twisted Fate actually wants to Destiny in. No, didn't lock in that gold card, and Akali just jumps over the wall with her Shadow Dance and is going to be okay. Twitch is actually in the top lane. He is one of the only members on Team vgr.black that does have the Baron buff still. No, I take that back. Both Nami and Ness have it as well. But that buff is going to time out in the next 45 seconds.
Blue team just picks up the dragon completely for free. They took it down in about 2 seconds. Super, super easy. And just pushing that gold lead a little bit further ahead. They're about 800 gold now.
Yeah, this is a really cool game, just because the way that they're getting their gold is so different. It feels like vgr.black are winning these team fights, and then that's what brought their gold up in the first place. But Team Kiss are pressuring those hard objectives, turrets, and the minion kills, and that's how they're getting their gold count up. So it's very cool to see the difference in playstyle and how it's working out for both of them, really, so far.
Yeah, definitely 2 different playstyles for sure, but at the moment, actually both showing their strengths and kind of balancing each other out. Going into the late game, there may be a little bit more power in the team fight of vgr.black, so that is going to be a little thing to watch out for.
Yeah, Caitlyn doesn't have a defensive item yet, and she is so much of the damage coming out from Team Kiss. So if they can't keep this Caitlyn alive, or conversely, if vgr.black can bring this Caitlyn down, it'll be a very different team fight when all of that gold is on the Caitlyn, really. So much wave clear coming out now from Team Kiss. I think it will be very hard to pressure this turret. TF and Caitlyn are just so effective at wave clear. And interestingly enough, Shen and Twisted Fate are the ones split pushing in the spot lane. I think Twisted Fate was a very cool hero to place against the Shen in the spot lane, as they both have the global ultimates. So Twisted Fate is roughly in range to get back to mid lane, even if Shen does use his Stand United. So very, very well thought out decision to move the Twisted Fate down there.
It is. Unfortunately, with the TF ult being used rather than a teleport, they don't have the power to go split push top lane and bot lane. They're going to have one of them in mid lane at all times, either the TF or the main group. So that is limiting them a little bit, but either way, it's still an effective way to counter that Shen.
Yeah, very, very good decision considering they don't have that teleport. So Akali, Nasus, and Nami all coming around to the spot lane. Akali actually trying to pick up the Twisted Fate. He has locked in the gold card, does fire it off. He has lost so much HP though. Both flashes are coming out, and they are going to pick up that kill. Royal Trumpo is going to be pretty happy with themselves. Lee Sin misses the Resonating Strike. Well played by the Akali.
Very nice get out.
Shadow dances out to the Sona into a Twilight Shroud and is able to walk away. So that was a 1-for-0 in favor of vgr.black, and now that they've lost that pressure on the map from the Twisted Fate wave clear, the Twisted Fate ultimate, they're looking to start pressuring this bot turret. The minion wave for them is pushing them in the top lane, and Zeratil's Twitch and best solo Q NA's Renekton are fighting in the mid lane. And the Ignite does go down, but Twitch is going to get away from that. I'm surprised, it almost looked like Twitch could 1v1 the Renekton there. So that's not a place you want to be with a Twitch or a Renekton. Want to be as a Renekton. When the
yeah, that's a really bad sign for Renekton, because Twitch is not sitting on the Last Whisper yet, but he is sitting on a huge amount of farm, just like the Caitlyn.
Akali taking so much damage, does get kicked away, but this inner turret does go down. The inhibitor is exposed. Twisted Fate has respawned. He does have that Destiny. We'll see that fired very shortly. Nice bubble onto the Twisted Fate, just slowing him down a little bit. And the Destiny does come out. His gold card, I think it's going to time out. Lee Sin lands a really nice kick, and the Destiny is good. The Shinto comes over the wall. So much damage going down. Twitch picks up the Lee Sin. Twisted Fate does pick up the Nasus though. Akali is sneaking around in invisibility. Actually goes over the wall to the golems. And it looks like she's going to get away. The Shin does pick up the Twisted Fate. Twitch picks up the Renekton as well. And now it's the Caitlyn going down. The chase is on. Can this Caitlyn get away? She does have the flash up. Her 90 caliber net is coming up in 3 seconds. And I think she's going to walk away from this one. Akali, though, comes back over the wall to pick up the Sona. And that was a 1-for-4 in favor of vgr.black.
crazy fight. It did go 1 for 4, so very much in favor of VGR Black. Quite solidifying their gold lead now.
Yeah, wow. I think Team Kiss are going to be
That's very, very big for them.
very unhappy with how that fight went for them. That was all based around that Twisted Fate getting caught out by Royal Chocobo's Akali and just going down in a 1v1, and then VGR Black pressuring the 5v4 in their favor and making things happen. They picked up 3 turrets, if I'm not mistaken, from that. They did indeed, and the open inhibitor in the bot lane is absolutely huge. They're all going to be able to group up and take that away very, very shortly. It looks, however, that they might want to be doing this Baron, and no wards on the map for Team Kiss, so I think they're going to be able to get this as well. And they have started it.
Yep, they're going to get that very, very quickly. It's going to be down long before Team Kiss can react, and they might even be able to pick up some kills off the back of it because Team Kiss are blind checking this right now. Bubble does
Baron
this,
has gone
but
down.
Baron has gone down.
So now, even though they had the advantage in kills and they were winning team fights, they now have Baron buff on top of that. And I'm not sure what Team Kiss can do right now to bring it back for themselves. I think maybe get an Oracles, start de-warding everything, get some wards of their own, and try set up a pick or some sort of 1-for-0 kill exchange and try and make things happen that way. Because at the moment they're yeah, in a really hard position to come back from.
They really, really can't fight, and Leeson has actually got that Oracles, but he's missed nearly all of their wards from Purple side, so that's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
And that's kind of hurting them at the moment.
It's interesting that Caitlyn has actually got an Oracles as well. I think that's not an Oracles to clear wards or anything on the Caitlyn, more so to find the Akali in bushes and try to bring her down. She does so much damage. Akali has actually found Caitlyn in the bot lane, getting some nice damage out. He does have that Riley's Crystal Scepter, as well as a Hextech Revolver, as well as an Abyssal Scepter. So much damage coming out. Lee Sin looking to try insect the Nami. Unfortunately, the Nami moved away from where the kick would put her into the team, and she's going to get away safely.
Both AD carries sitting on a huge amount of CS. Caitlyn's still slightly ahead of Twitch, very, very slightly, but both sitting on almost identical items. Twitch has picked up that red buff, which, while his ult does reduce damage per person hit, the red buff will apply to every single one of them at a full amount.
That's very, very scary. So that slow and that true damage is going to come out from the red buff if he can hit it on everyone. So nice wave clear coming up from Team Kiss, but they are being pressured at top, mid, and bot. This is a very Dignitas-esque style of pressuring, where you pressure all the waves at once, and you try and force them to make a mistake. Renekton actually being taunted in this bot lane. Gets a nice slice and dice off though, has both procs on it, and Twitch goes in and gets some nice damage on the Caitlyn. Caitlyn's probably wants to heal up very shortly. She doesn't have home guard boots as well. Nice bubble landing on Renekton, and she's taking so much damage. His Force of Fire is Dominus, and this inhibitor is being sieged down very, very, very effectively. Red card coming out. Might have been better if he did have a yellow card, but it was enough to push them off momentarily. And it looks like Twitch is almost 1v1ing this Twisted Fate. If he gets enough damage off, he's going to be able to use that.
Twitch ult comes out and he's just destroying everything.
Zhonya's is popped, but I think he's going to go down. And does go down to a Nami wave, actually. And Team Kiss insect the Akali. Akali's forced to flash out, but that was for 2 kills and an inhibitor. And it looks like VGR Black are going to be able to pressure down these Nexus turrets and the Nexus itself, and they are going to win this best of 1 and ensure that they go on to the semi-final stages of this tournament. So, what an incredibly well-played game.
Very well played. Kiss looked like they had that early game so under control, but VGR just had that strong team fight and slightly better just teamwork, and they really brought it into their favor and won. Yeah,
incredibly so. So I want to do a little bit of analysis on that game because there were so many well-played strategies and tactics behind what they were doing. So we saw from the very beginning of the game that Team Kiss were applying a very C9 style of game, or a very Korean styled meta game. So they were aiming for turrets, they forced a lane swap, so they put Caitlyn and Sona top, and they pressured down that turret and got it in no time at all. Caitlyn and Sona then rotated bot lane and tried to get that turret as well as Twisted Fate using his Sheen and his Lichbane to great effect and pressuring down mid turrets. So their objective was to get all those turrets early and try go to a normal 28-minute Korean style win. And unfortunately, that didn't work out for them, and that was all based around the fact that VGR Black picked up a couple of dragons, so they weren't too behind in gold, and won a couple of very crucial team fights. Even if it was only picking up a couple kills here and there, it was enough to really bring them back into the game after losing those first turrets. Do you have anything to say based on the strategies that these teams planned, or why you feel like VGR Black was able to take the win away?
Um, yeah, basically what you said. They just played it really, really well, and despite being so far behind actually early, they just they knew what they had to do and they executed very well. And they did rely on that hyper carry from Twitch and Akali, which at the moment in the current meta I feel is a little bit stronger than having your damage balanced out between quite a few people. Um, Definitely seems to be a bit of a hyper carry meta at the moment.
Yeah, so that was very well played. So, guys, we just saw game one of this single elimination in the top eight. So this was Team Kiss versus Team VGR Black. So if I'm not mistaken, Team Kiss have just been knocked out of this top eight, and they will not be progressing any further. They played fantastically, however, and I'd have to say a big congratulations for coming through the round robin yesterday, and very well played to all the players in both teams. And we're going to be going to a couple of minute break while we set up the next game. Don't go anywhere, guys. It's been great having you supporting us, and we'll see you all shortly.